You got anything you want to kick off with, Coach?
Yeah, thank you all for coming. I thought we had a good day's work on Tuesday. Obviously, we're in the first stages of this whole thing, as we talked about. The first 5 practices will be installation of kind of our fundamentals and base principles in all phases of the game. Kids did a great job Tuesday. We've got basically the same practice structure today. And then on Saturday, we'll put shoulder pads on, and the practice structure will change a little bit then. But I like the way the kids went about it. We've got another great challenge today to continue to get things installed, to continue to work on techniques, and really kind of take the first 5 practices to kind of take our baby steps forward in installation in all 3 phases of the game. Questions?
I know the first couple of days, there's only so much you can do with guys in shorts. What do you look for specifically? What's the one thing you want to see from these guys?
Well, I want to see us understand the practice structure. I want to see us move with urgency. I'm a big believer in that. Transition between periods, our activity within the periods. I want it to be constructive, but I want it to move at a certain pace. Learning how to practice, and then just installing. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can glean individually. Maybe a little bit of their knowledge base of what's going in the first 2 days, just because it's not real football. You're out there in pajamas running around. So, how we practice, we want to get that installed. We want and try and glean a little bit of knowledge base, I guess, from the kids.
How was the quarterback rotation gone so far with getting all 5 guys getting ready?
Oh, it's been fine so far. I mean, it's been pretty smooth, and like I said, as we go through it, we'll taper those things. We won't stay like that the whole time for the entire spring. But as those guys earn more reps and we get a nice little sample size there, then we'll taper it to the guys that are moving towards the front to narrow down a little bit.
When you take over a completely new team, how fast can you install the offense?
We won't move very quickly. You're installing, and you're also playing against a defense. Certain things you would do versus a 3-4 defense that you wouldn't do versus a 4-2 defense that you would. I mean, there's all sorts of variations in there. So the offensive staff is tasked with a pretty difficult objective there of getting the base concepts installed, even if they may not be things you particularly like against what Virginia Tech, what our defense looks like, just in order to get some foundation there. So, and then taper it towards stuff that gives you a little bit of chance to succeed. So, but I'm not worried about winning practices, and we're into getting things taught and moving forward. So, short answer to your question is, we're not moving really fast. We're trying to make sure we've got all our I's dotted and T's crossed as we move through, and trying to teach some base concepts, even if they may not fit up great against what the offense is seeing every day.
How much of a benefit is to have Coach Foster in that defense? Obviously, you might tweak some things throughout the spring to let you focus on offense, on installation.
Well, I'm focused on the team. My job is to coach the team. I have an offensive background, obviously, but I also empower the offensive coaches as well. How nice is it to have Coach Foster? It's fantastic, but and my job is to kind of coach the entire group and set the tone from that standpoint. But it's great to have Coach Foster out there. I think he's getting familiar, and those coaches are the new coaches on staff are getting familiar with him and how he wants things done, and kind of moving forward.
So a video clip of you called Sam Rogers up before the team to tell me something about Terrell Smith. Give us about 4 or 5 facts. Is that something you've been doing for a while? Is that?
No, we've had, I tried to have something as we move through the calendar, that we're focused on, or something, kind of a sidebar that we're working on, whether in off-season conditioning it may be one thing, and then as we moved into spring practice, it was just, I want to make sure we get to know everyone. So we divided everybody up in in different teams, and I let them know ahead of time that after practice on Tuesday, I'm going to call certain guys out, and they're going to be responsible for knowing things about their teammates, just in an effort to make sure we're all familiar with everyone. I believe if you know somebody and have a personal relationship with them, and there's some depth to that relationship, then you're more invested and they're more invested in everybody's overall well-being. So something that we'll exercise throughout the spring, and you know, we'll move down the list of some of the younger guys. That'll be the real challenge. I expect Sam to know them. It's the younger guys as we move through practice, and you know, we have a little incentive for them to make sure that they know something about their teammates.
I was going to ask you, did you steal that from Remember the Titans? Is that
No, did they do that in there?
I think so.
Is this how you're going to find your team leaders, the guys that are going to step up? And
Oh, I don't know if that's how you identify. I just want guys to be familiar with each other. You know, I mean, we've got, we're going to need old guys and young guys, and guys from the region and guys from far off in order to have a chance to succeed. I want to make sure we've got a good foundation of knowledge. And we develop our leaders through our work ethic and through setting a great example and what we say and do on a daily basis.
Maybe you'll see who's more vocal, who can express themselves better here this way, I guess.
Well, I guess. I mean, my number one priority is to make sure we understand each other. We did the same thing at Memphis, and I think it worked well, just to give them a little incentive to get to know each other.
Coach, on a smaller scale, what do you hope these guys kind of take away from each practice as they're still kind of getting used to the new way to do things?
Oh, I hope we gain knowledge level of what we're installing, just purely X's and O wise. I hope hope we can continue to move forward. And I know there'll be a time in the spring when on either side of the ball or in special teams, we may have to take a step backwards in order to move forward. But I hope we incrementally get better. I hope the players continue to feel more comfortable with the way that we're doing things and our level of expectations. I hope they understand that we have their best interests at heart, but we're going to be very demanding at the same time. So I hope they kind of increase that comfort level of our expectations, and then I hope they grow closer each and every practice. Hope we learn how to practice, how to compete against each other while taking care of each other during practice.
Looking forward to knocking somebody down?
Yeah, exactly. I got there. Want to play football.
You're approaching the season any differently as a senior? Do you feel like you need to take on more of a leadership role? And if so, how do you go about that?
I've always tried to be a leader in any way I could. It's obviously a different kind of way now because it's more vocal now. The past 2 years been more vocal. Freshman year, you usually come in and try to lead by example, but now leading by example really isn't enough. You got to open up your mouth and help these guys and help them come along. So.
How was the off-season strength and conditioning program and conditioning program different from past years?
I mean, I don't really want to compare too much between the two. I mean, everybody's going to have their own nuances and styles and things like that. I love the guys here right now. I love what they're doing, and it's been really good for us.
Are you guys doing a lot of running? It seems like they're trying to play in the tempo you guys want to play at. A lot of running is going to be required in this whole offseason.
Yeah, we've definitely been doing a lot of running, a lot of conditioning. It's been good for us, though. It challenges mentally and physically, so it's been really good.
Obviously, you guys haven't had that many practices, but Coach has been talking about installing the offense. How do you think that's going so far?
It's going well. Just as a player, you just gotta focus on the little things right now and just make sure everybody's lining up right and things like that. But it's going well. It's fun to get to learn this new offense. Seems like it's gonna be a really fun and exciting offense. So can't wait to put more and more in.
Coach Leffler talked about before he left how easy a transition he thought it would be because the offenses were actually pretty similar. How similar do you think they are just from this spring, given to know Coach Cornelson's offense?
I mean, like I said, each coach is going to have their own little quirk and stuff. At the end of the day, football is football. You're going to have similar schemes. I feel like with just about any offense, you're going to have some similar schemes, some similarity. But, I mean, it's just a whole new language because people call it different things. So that's the biggest part, just learning what they call certain things and all that.
Does the fullback's role change any now in this new offense?
Yeah, I mean, fullback is kind of like an H-back in this offense. That's what they call it. But I mean, I'll probably be doing so much stuff. I don't really know. We'll get into all that stuff later. We'll see.
Sam, what are 5 facts about Terrell Smith?
I already gave this. Yeah, that's something cool that he's done. He's kind of split us up into groups and assigned you to basically 5 or 6 different people you get to know 5 facts about each of them, and he can call on you and ask you about any of those guys in the group, and you better know those 5 facts.
Were you the first one he called on to do?
I was actually the last one at practice, so they called on a couple other people before me.
Did you have it down? You knew you had it down?
Yeah, I was ready to go.
What do? You talk to Terrell to get information? You just like Google him or what?
Well, I'm not going to Google him if he's in the locker room. I'll probably just go talk to him. So we started like a little group text between our group and just made sure we had like a certain amount of facts in there about each other and just studied this. So it was good.
How many people are in the group for that?
My group, there was, I think, 7 people. I mean, it's around that for each group. Some groups have a little more, a little less.
So did everybody do as well as you did, or did
Yeah,
somebody?
everybody knocked it out of the park. It was great.
A lot of anticipation up for this spring. What's it like to finally be out there, have Coach Fuente, everything like finally here?
It's finally football, so it's nice. It's nice to just get away from all the hype about it and just play the game that we love playing. So it's nice to get back out there.
How's the position switch been so far? I mean, obviously it's early on, but how is that different from where you were playing last year, DB?
Well, it's different, only just new tasks to learn. And like Coach Butt was saying, he just wants somebody to perfect their craft. And with me and Adonis moving, it's not too much more that you have to learn, but he just wants us to get one thing down pat. And I feel like I'm learning that pretty well.
How receptive were you to making that move? I know you finished up pretty strong last year at cornerback.
Well, I know the coaches always have my best interests in mind, and I know they're going to put me in the best place I could be. And I'm not saying that I was mad about it. I'm not saying that anything like that, because it's a great move, and I know the coach is going to put me in the best position.
You played some safety your first spring here, I think.
Yes,
Was
sir.
Rover part of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So is it easy just to transition back?
Well, I didn't play much Rover my first spring, but I played a little bit, so I know a little bit of the task and everything like that.
How
Talk
diff-
about maybe, you switching back to corner if needed, if depth issues arise?
Yes, whatever the coaches want, I'll just go ahead and go back to corner. It doesn't really matter where I'm at. I just want to do what's best for the team, and if I'm at Rover at corner, wherever the coaches want me to be, that's where I'll go.
Is it difficult to transition to having different coaches in the secondary now?
Well, every coach has their own swagger pretty much, and Coach Gray had his own swagger. Coach Scott has his own swagger, and both of them, they're both great guys, and I just can't say too much about that.
To have Coach Foster back, does that kind of help ease into this spring with some consistency there?
Yes, ma'am. That's a great thing, having Coach Foster back. I was hoping that he was coming back, and just having Coach Foster there, already know the defense, not having to learn the whole new defense. That's just a great thing, and it's helping the defense out as a whole, and everybody's just growing together. The team's getting better, and that's just a great thing.
How intense as a coach is Coach Scott?
Well, Coach Scott, he wants you to do your job. Of course, every coach wants you to do your job. He's not going to just yell at you for no reason. He's going to make sure that you're learning, make sure that you're getting better and everything like that. So Coach Scott, he's a good guy.
With Kendall going to the draft and Donovan now being a senior and retiring, how is you being kind of rumored as the next man up affecting your mentality and your approach to practice?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm like the next man up. I'll say that the whole defensive block, D block all together, we're all just coming up. We're all growing together. We're all trying to get better together. And we just want to be one sound pretty much. Everybody wants to be on the same page at all times, and we just want to all click together.
I know you had all your brothers here last year. It's a little weird not having Trey on the team this year.
Well, of course, that's my brother. I support whatever decision he made. And yes, it's kind of different not having him here, but I know he's having fun in Maryland, and I'm having fun here still, and I'm still glad to be a Hokie.
What's Tremaine's outlook this year? I mean, you sense that he's kind of excited to have the opportunity he has this spring?
Yes, when I talk to him, he's always laughing and smiling like, hey, bro, we're on the same side, because we're both on the same side on the defense, and he's just excited about it.
All right, questions for Augie?
Yeah.
Spring look?
Yeah, it's a little bit cooler, a little bit more efficient, more aerodynamic, makes you faster.
You joked that you linemen seem like you're going to have to do a lot of running. You're going to play at the tempo that you guys are going to want to play at next year. What's that like? Has that been an adjustment at all?
I mean, it's a little bit of a transition from lefties offense. I mean, we ran a no huddle with the previous offensive scheme, but this one it's more of a, it's a definitely no huddle, but it's more of a quick no huddle. So we're kind of trying to get lined up as fast as we can. I mean, Coach Weiss always tells us our goal is just to get lined up as quick as we can and let the quarterback dictate the tempo of the offense, but never have him waiting on the offensive line to get set. He wants us to be set and ready to go and just let the quarterback dictate the tempo of the offense.
I think this is the fourth offensive line coach that you've been in your career here. What is that like to have yet another new person here, and what's that transition been like?
I mean, obviously you'd like to have some consistency in the coaching, but I mean, from another standpoint, it's also I've enjoyed just kind of picking up different techniques, different styles from different coaches. Just, I don't know, kind of picking up parts that they're teaching and adding it to my game, as opposed to just having one offensive line coach the whole time and one set of, I guess, techniques. I can pick up different ones from different coaches and incorporate them in the way I play. So it's been an interesting experience when it comes to just developing my game, just picking up different aspects of different coaches.
I know you've only kind of had limited work with him, but what's Coach Weiss's style like on the field?
I mean, it's definitely really similar to Coach Searles. I really enjoy working with Coach Weiss. He's a good guy. I respect and I like what Coach Weiss is saying when it comes to coaching and stuff like that. So I think it'll be a good fit for our offensive line when it comes to transitioning from Coach Searles to Coach Weiss.
Obviously, it's still early on, but how do you think the offensive installation has gone so far?
I think it's gone well. During our 5:30 workouts, we were working on installing some plays, and we're just going back to the basics here the first couple of days of spring ball. But I definitely think it's going well. I mean, obviously, when you learn new stuff, it's not going to be exactly perfect the first time around, but we're working on cleaning up some stuff here during spring ball, but I think it's going well.
How excited are you to not be waking up at 5 a.m. to go run?
Everybody's pretty happy not to have to do that anymore. I mean, unfortunately for me, this is my last go-around, but the younger guys, they get to look forward to it the next year.
Being one of the more experienced guys, you've gone through this a few times. What are your goals for the end of the spring for the offensive line and the team?
Just as for the end of the spring, I'd like to have our depth chart established. I'd like for the offense to start gelling and working as a unit. Obviously, I want to have a majority of the game plan in for what we're going to do when we go into fall camp. But just to be able to click as an offense and be able to establish some depth and find out the different roles. I guess the big question is find out who our quarterback's going to be. And I think that'll kind of spring ball kind of springboard us into fall. I'm sure there'll be some opinions on quarterbacks coming out of spring, but I think fall is really going to be where the quarterback position is going to be made in terms of who's going to be playing. But just to kind of gel as an offense coming out of spring ball.
Have you gotten a sense for the number one OL group yet, or is it still too early to tell?
I mean, obviously going in with just a majority of last year's lineup still here, they've been taking most of the reps, but I mean, every position's open, especially when you get new coaches. There's no guaranteed spots, so I mean, I guess that makes for better competition and stuff. But I mean, every spot's open, so I mean, you can go to practice and watch the first starting lineup out there today. It could be completely different next time we go out there.
Have you been called up in front of the group yet to do the 5 things about a teammate?
Yeah, I was the second person to be called out.
Who you had?
I had Yash Neisman, so it wasn't a hard person to rattle off 5 facts about simply because he's been around here for a little while. But I think once the younger guys start going, it might be a little bit more challenging.
They weren't going to challenge you with somebody other than an offensive lineman?
I mean, hey, I'm not complaining because if I messed up, that would have been because if everybody doesn't get the 5 facts right, we have to go do a bunch of sprints. So I wasn't complaining with an easy choice.
Do you feel that that's pretty helpful in terms of like a team camaraderie to get to know everybody?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right when Coach Fuente got here, one of the big things he did was he moved the lockers around so you're not strictly with your position group, so you get to know your team a little bit better. And I think his philosophy is being more of a team, more of a family when it comes to getting to know your teammates and that kind of stuff, not just your position group or just the people you hang out with. So I think that was this is one way he's trying to incorporate that philosophy is just by getting to know each other.
What's it like when you're kind of used to how the whole time you've been here it's been one way and now your final year it's kind of all different? What's that been like?
I mean, obviously, different coaches are going to have different ways of doing things. I think one of the biggest things is, I mean, obviously, I've been doing the stuff for, 4 going on 5 years now, and so they move my locker around. Sometimes I just subconsciously walk in the locker room, start walking the wrong locker now. But, I mean, obviously, it's going to be the biggest change for the seniors. But, I mean, I'm open to anything as long as I like what the coaches are saying and stuff. I'm usually pretty easy to get to jump on board and buy in.